Greetings, friends. In today's video, we're going to discuss an important question. Should Jews own guns? Should Jews carry guns? Or should we simply trust in God for protection? What does the Hebrew Bible and Jewish tradition have to say about this? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time here, it's a pleasure. If you'd like a free resource on this topic, check the link in the description below. If you enjoy this video, consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future discussions. Recently, we have witnessed tragic acts of violence that have shaken Jewish communities. In recent years, the United States has experienced a significant increase in anti-Semitic incidents. According to the ADL, there were 8,873 such incidents in 2023, marking a 140% rise from the 3,698 reported in 2022. This surge includes harassment, vandalism, and physical assaults. Notably, following the October 7, 2023, attack on Israel by Hamas, anti-Semitic activities in the U.S. spiked by 361% compared to the same period the previous year. With these alarming trends, this raises an important question. What does the Hebrew Bible actually say about guns and self-defense? And as Jews, should we be carrying or owning firearms at all? Of course, firearms did not exist in biblical times, so the Hebrew Bible does not address them directly. However, Jewish texts and tradition provide guidance on weapons, self-defense, and ethical responsibilities. Here are 3 key principles we need to consider as we explore the issue of gun ownership and self-protection in Jewish thought. Self-defense and protection are affirmed in the Hebrew Bible. Let's say you are at home and someone threatens your safety, the safety of your spouse, or the safety of your children. Do you have the biblical right to defend yourself? Let's see what the Hebrew Bible has to say. Proverbs 25 verse 26 states, "Like a muddied spring, a ruined fountain, is a righteous man fallen before a wicked one." This teaches that it is not right for righteous individuals to passively surrender to the wickedness of evildoers. A stronger passage appears in Exodus 22 verse 1. "If a thief is seized while tunneling, and he is beaten to death, there is no blood guilt in his case. If the sun has risen on him, there is blood guilt in that case." The idea here is that if someone breaks into your home at night, you cannot assess their intent, whether they seek harm or are merely desperate. If you act in self-defense and the intruder is killed, you bear no guilt. However, if it happens in daylight, when you can better judge the situation, the killing may not be justified. We see this principle in action in 1 Samuel 17, where David, before becoming king, defended Israel against the Philistine warrior Goliath. David armed himself with a sling and 5 stones, and because he was prepared, he was able to protect Israel and ensure its safety. The Hebrew Bible is very clear that revenge or intimidation is prohibited. Let's say someone has already wronged you, the harm is done, and nothing can change the past. You do not have the right to seek revenge against this person, to try to teach them a lesson by retaliating against them, their family, or their livelihood. We don't have the right as Jews to seek revenge or use weapons as a means of intimidation. Leviticus 19 verse 18 states, "You shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against your countrymen. Love your fellow as yourself. I am the Lord." This commandment makes it clear that vengeance is not ours to take. Though we may feel justified in repaying harm with harm, the Torah forbids holding on to anger and acting upon it. A powerful example of this principle can be seen in the story of King David. In 1 Samuel 24, David had the perfect opportunity to kill King Saul, who had been hunting him down. Yet David refused, saying, "The Lord forbid that I should do such a thing to my Lord, the Lord's anointed. Raise my hand against him, for he is the Lord's anointed." Even though Saul sought to harm him, David would not take justice into his own hands. This teaches us that responding to wrongdoing with violence or intimidation only leads to more destruction. Instead, we are called to trust that justice ultimately belongs to God. The Hebrew Bible and Jewish tradition emphasize restraint from violence and trusting in God's justice. Psalms 37 verses 8 to 9 states, "Give up anger, abandon fury, do not be vexed, it can only do harm. For evil men will be cut off, but those who look to the Lord, they shall inherit the land." Some interpret this as an instruction to avoid retaliation and place faith in God rather than taking matters into our own hands. Even when we suffer injustice, we are called to patience, trusting that ultimate justice belongs to God. Proverbs 20 verse 22 reinforces this idea. "Do not say, 'I will repay evil.' Put your hope in the Lord, and he will deliver you." This suggests that enduring hardship without resorting to violence finds favor with God, as he alone ensures true justice. Exodus 21 verse 24 contains the well-known phrase, "Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot." This verse is often misunderstood as a call for personal vengeance, but Jewish tradition interprets it as a principle of measured justice carried out through courts rather than individual retaliation. This teaching can be understood in two ways. As a legal principle, justice must be proportional and administered by a fair system, not personal revenge. As an ethical guide, personal restraint is valued, and violence should not be the first response to harm. Some argue this supports self-defense, as one cannot always predict an aggressor's intentions. Weapons themselves are not inherently good or evil, just as any tool is neutral. Their morality depends on the person using them. In the hands of the righteous, weapons can protect and save lives. In the hands of the wicked, they bring destruction. Does the Hebrew Bible permit or prohibit it? Jewish law teaches that we must uphold the laws of the land in which we live, but ultimately, our guiding principle comes from the ethical and moral teachings of the Hebrew Bible and Jewish tradition. Since the Hebrew Bible does not explicitly address modern firearms, this issue ultimately comes down to personal conviction. If your conscience tells you that owning a weapon is unnecessary or unwise, then you may choose to rely solely on God for protection. However, if you believe that having a means of defense makes you and your family safer, Jewish law does not prohibit it. This is a complex and debated issue, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Where do you stand on this matter? Share your perspective in the comments below. If you found this discussion insightful, consider sharing it with a friend. And if you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe and explore more content on this channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time.